Your wife can forgive you for anything. All right. So I'm sure you've heard the saying that I can forgive, but not forget. And it is true in a way. Okay. So memory may still be intact, but what is the real difference between forgiving and forgetting? It's actually very, very simple. It's emotion. Somebody who cannot forgive, what they are really saying is that they are not able to forget the feelings associated with the event or the person or whatever they're remembering, which caused them the various triggers, right? Somebody who forgave and cannot forget, what they're really saying is that they have dealt with the emotions that those events caused. So now, when they're remembering those memories, they're just memories with zero emotional trigger behind it, right? Like, okay, what does this have to do with marriage and your wife? Well, forgetting is not as important as forgiving. That's the first thing, okay? If what I said above is accurate, then forgetting is actually pretty much impossible and useless, anyways. It's forgiving that you want to focus on. Forgiving is what matters, which is purely driven by the emotions caused by the events, right? Or the person. So if you did something and your wife has had a hard time forgiving you, then you know that's the case because the feelings she is deriving from those events make it that way. Okay? Now, let me just bring up the next part, which is your wife can forgive you for anything that you have done as long as the emotions are dealt with that are associated to the event. Anybody, including your wife. Okay? So the key here is that the emotions must be dealt with. In your wife's case, that means expression. And I'm hoping you're starting to see how it connects to the previous section that we talked about. When you start to allow her to express some of those feelings and hurts associated to the various memories, right? Then when she deals with those feelings, she'll be able to forgive you. She'll still remember it, but she'll be able to forgive you, which means when she remembers it, it's not going to hurt you. Okay? Now, to ensure she can do that, you have a big role in that, right? Because she needs to express her feelings in order to figure them out, which then will help her deal with them. You must be able to create that safe space in which she can go through that process. Okay? Now, her emotions are bullets being basically trapped. That's all it is. So when something happens in her life that hurts her, and this goes the same for you, by the way, if something happens in her life or your life that hurts you, you have an interpretation and you give it a meaning and you suppress it. This was especially the case when you were a young child, right? So between the ages of 5 and 8, that's the first time you experience the notion of failure. And between the ages of 11 and 13, that's when you start to have the need for belonging and all the failures and challenges that come with that. So major insecurities develop during that development phase of a boy, right? Now, your wife has these phases too. And one of the motivating factors that can help you in this area is understanding that your wife has bullets just like you do. Okay? She also has insecurities that are suppressed. These are emotions that she keeps down, right? This is pain. These are causing survival behaviors for her. Okay? When you start to understand this, along with the fact that actually the feminine way of pulling bullet is different than the masculine, you can then start to really assist in dealing with this suppressed hurt on her side, right? You can pull it for her, but you can be of great service creating the space, okay? And once she has dealt with that, she will be able to forgive you for anything. It doesn't matter if you cheated on her. It doesn't matter if you didn't take out the garbage. It doesn't matter if, somebody she feels passed away because of you. Whatever the case is, she'll be able to forgive you as long as she's able to deal with the emotions. Okay? Now, this is not a tool for you to abuse. Okay, and it's not a license for you to keep messing up. Okay, you do need to do your part in the work to change and correct some of the behaviors that may have caused hurt to others, especially if you see responsibility in it. Okay, but
Yeah.
like you want to make sure that you don't overuse it and you don't abuse it. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
we keep touching on that emotional safety and security, right? And just to give a different perspective on it, like if you have kids, or you may have witnessed this from other parents, where you hear them say to their child, just tell me the truth, right? Um, and you probably also witnessed the child being very sheepish about telling the truth. And why is that? Right? Because the child is afraid of the consequences. The child does not feel like it's
Yeah.
actually a safe place for them to tell the truth. And I'm highlighting this and that example for two reasons. Because for your wife, the experience is actually very similar, right? The same sense of fear if you do not provide that safe space for her.
Mhm.
And there's also the component of the fear of forgiving you because she's done that multiple times in the past. And the actions don't change. The
Mhm.
actions don't change because the emotions and the insecurities you have haven't been dealt with over time. So her experience is, okay, I've forgiven him for stuff in the past, and then nothing changes. And all he does is he continues to hurt me. So her resistance and her reluctance to forgive is often from the past experience of she's setting herself up for more hurt.